Hi everyone, this is Evelyn. I'm hoping to get finished today. This is supposed to be, it was 2 out of 3, and then I got cut off again with my videos, and then it was 3 out of 4, and then I couldn't finish the 4th in the past couple days, so today I'm going to get through as much of that as possible. On the last video we cut off, there was just a paragraph that I didn't finish in the 7-deck read, so I'll tell you what that is today. And I have this general read on the table for you guys, as well as a message of the day. And the meditation I just did for you took me on a journey. So I was spending the last hour on your message, which was profound and detailed, and there may be some of it that's confusing for you, but just allow it in because there are codes coming in, and there's some of it that's really cool that you will understand. So just bear with me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Let's get some more clearing here. Take a deep breath if you are so inclined. All right, so I'm going to start with the meditation and go back to the beginning where we fell off last time. Just take a deep breath. So much was just coming up. All right, so I'm going to roll the die first, just so I don't forget to do that, okay? And then we'll get into the meditation that I just did for you. And it was 239 when we started, which is the 2 of the High Priestess or Higher Self, and the 39 of the Knight of Cups. And this is for the Twin Flames, for anyone else who is watching right now, for the best and highest good of all who's concerned. Okay, we have Uranus here, okay, which is Aquarius, which the moon went into Aquarius today. And we have Aries here, the Ram, and the Lamb was coming up a lot yesterday and today. And then the number 3, which also is coming up a lot today, as well as all the past month probably. But 3 is also the Empress, which is also Taurus, and Mother Nature, the Earth. We have Aquarius is fixed, Cardinal, and then Taurus would be fixed as well. But it's also 3. Pisces could be coming through with that as well, which is mutable. I'm really getting the focus in. See the 3 ones here and the line across with the plus sign in the middle? That's very significant in the messages that I'm bringing to you now. So just remember that I pointed that out. And here again, the Ram energy is the energy of the Taurus, and the energy that shoots up out of the middle of the Taurus, like a sprout, or a waterfall, a water sprout, or an oil sprout, whatever. That energy of that, a lot of energy spraying upward. And then the 3, which is for me the rolling stone of the 3, E, M, and W, which is the same symbol in 4 different positions. Of course, east, west, north, and south. So the directions are coming up as well. All 4, I'm getting the 4 corners of the earth. So the meditation I just did for you, I was seeing my inner little girl walking like a mummy. So then Halloween was coming up, of course. I don't know why it's coming up so early, but it is. And then the wolf came in, and I actually ended up posting the wolf today on my Instagram and my other sites. So the little girl was showing me the mummy, and then the wolf howls for Halloween. And then I see a cross like take off the ground and flies away as the Wicked Witch. So the cross was her body, and the Wicked Witch's head was attached to that cross. As she flies away, the cross flies away as the Wicked Witch. And I was also then getting that runs away with the spoon. which then would make it the fork, which is the trident, okay? And was coming out as walking like a mummy. Then the wolf howls for Halloween. Then the cross flies away as the wicked witch, never again to be seen. And then eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe came up. And the first time I truly connected in meditation in my 20s, my toes came through as my guide, and that was coming up from my toes, which is very significant for my specific connection. So, and then the tiger comes up as that masculine energy, right, as opposed to the lion who lies on. And then so the toe came up, and the mummy, which is the mommy, was coming up, and the mean mommy could be coming up too. But again, then the howling of the moon, as we're now waxing to the full moon around the 17th to the 18th, depending where you are in the world. And then the cross, or the old way, is flying away, running away with the spoon, never to be seen. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and again, mean is intention, and eeny is the EE of energetic exchange, and then NY was coming up, and you'd think it's New York, but that wasn't the intent here. So mine also is coming up as the mind's underground, but also mine, all mine. And then the mo is the MO, or the motivation. And then catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, like the wolf, right, howling, if he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, mine, mo. So then mitos was coming up, which is my toes. So if you think of mitos, you think of MYTH, which is the myth. But remember, myth is my to the nth degree. So either which way, it comes up as this my energy. And then mitos has to do with mitosis as well. But I looked up mito without the S, and it's toll gates. And also washing yourself. So multiple washing with water, and water was the card that came up when I pulled from my Ascension deck today. So again, water being very important. Make sure you're very well hydrated. And of course, mythos is also the story, the theme, the motive, and there's that MO coming up again. And also the mitochondria comes up with that. And mito also means man, so mitos would be men, and also genitalia. Mito, M-I-T-T-O, comes up under mito as well, which means change and exchange, remove, to bestow and let go, send, to put, to extend, announce, tell, report, release, emit, sprinkle, guide, throw, attend. So again, let go. And also means midday and Wednesday, measure and blind, to pass over, discharge, or dedicate. And there's probably a few more definitions that are all similar there for mito. So here's the plural of that, mitos, of all of that, of the plural changes. And now I'm getting changing. And so we have the eeny, meeny, miny, mo is coming up as E-E-N-Y. And then meany is the mean, or intention. And meany was coming up with that as well. So me, N-Y. And then mine literally was coming up as my N-Y. And then M-O. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So NY means the new moon, the waxing moon, the new, the novel, fresh, recent, different. Also we and us, and nigh, which means near and close. And there's also a mito in Japan, so multiple mitos in Japan. And there may be a wound coming up around Japan that you may have lived in your past life. And again, it has to do like Harry-Carry energy in Japan, like the warrior masculine, right, who's very stiff and fixed. Then also under NY was coming up the language code for Chichua. And my son's nickname is Chu, so of course my guides knew that would bring in my need to decode the word. And like I've told you many times before, CH is HP, or horsepower, and IC is the inner child. And again, CH is horsepower. And then EWA was coming up as the U. So again, referencing the lamb, but also EWA is the E of Eve and the A of Adam and the two U's of the W between, which comes up to my codes, which will come up again prior to this, because this is today, and I'm going to give you the past week. So horsepower literally is 144 turns of the water wheel, right? That the horse can achieve. And then that's the 144, and then the triple zeros comes up as the plus sign, which is also the horizontal and the vertical pillars. And then the U was coming up numerologically as, let's see here. Just give me a second, I'm just confusing myself again. There's a lot of details here. So the reason why 144 is coming up is because it came up earlier in the week. And if you break down the number 144, it's literally 3 1s and 2 L's. And those 2 L's are literally like an F lying down or an arrow showing movement. And the 111 references the pi symbol, because the 1 is the line, which is actually an arc. So they're actually circles with the line down the middle, which is the pi symbol. And then the arrow of direction. So that's the 144. And the triple zeros comes up as the 2 zeros next to each other, like the infinity symbol, and then the third zero like between them, which then creates the 2 peas in a pod. Okay? So the plus sign represents that extra of the 1,000, and then 133 was coming up from the what's the word? 5, 5, 1. I'm just trying to figure out which word that was from. It's two letters were 3 letters, which are I see 133 was coming up, and and 133 is from ICU, which I is normally 9, but here the I can also be the 1, because 1 and I are really the same, because it's just the ending into the new beginning again. And then C is 3, and U is also 3. It's 21-3. And then 133 was coming up reflecting 144. So 144 plus 133, which ICU also is saying I see you, and then peekaboo, ICU was coming up. The inner child unit was coming up again. So again, here is the picture of what I was getting, the 144 with the ICU and the 133, and then the coming together of the 2 peas in the pods when you have the 3 circles. And there's that energy talking about, the Aries symbol right there that I just brought up. So IC is also the inner child, and U is the unit here of the ICU, but also the union. The EE of the energetic exchange at the new moon waxing with me, not me, but the self, me, new, which is also we and us, fresh and different, my novel. And then Chichua was coming up, which which is near and close, Chichua. So of course Chichua, you're going to get other meanings out of that with chi and ki, right? So the energy key of 2 U's as humans extending themselves out to others. And then I've written, I don't know how many chapters it has, I haven't worked on it in a long time, but I have written chapters of a book, and just was cathartic for myself in unraveling some stuff about my own life. And 144 was coming up with my book and title because it has to do with one love and 44 life lessons plus, which now we're talking about the plus sign. And then the 133 adds up to 7, and 7 was a number I was using as well. And again, the 7 cracks of peekaboo, I see you. And then the Liberty Bell came up with the crack and rings, and ding, ding, ding was coming up, and that was at 146. And now I'm getting the stock market at 146, which is the Magician and the inner children, the 6 of Cups of innocence. So the 144 plus 133 was coming up. And of course, you all know my business is 3344, so it was significant, and it's significant for me in other ways as well. But the 144 and 133 were then coming up as the plus sign in the middle, which is also the 3 zeros of the 2 peas in the pod, or the 44,000. So I looked up the number, 2 numbers, 1440133, and then I looked up 144000133. And first, the 144033 search came up as a mount that fits Caterpillar. The site was Aftermarket Express, and it was just a spare parts site, but it literally is coming up as mount as fits Caterpillar, which is that which changes into the butterfly, the transformation. And it looked like a mount, like a cap you'd put on a deck post or something, or it looked like the end of a curtain rod, some kind of decorative cap. I'm not sure what it was. I couldn't figure it out. I looked for more of an explanation, but I didn't find one. And then I looked up the number 144000133, and what came up was a data unit converter from kilobytes to Y-bit, which I didn't know what it was. And that's is it WIDA? It's a Yoda bit. So this has to do with data size, and what just happened to pop up under that number 144000133 was the conversion from kilobytes to Yoda bytes. And it literally comes up as that many kilobytes is basically 0, because the Yoda bytes are based on data size and the theoretical storage capacity of data volumes equaling 2 to the 80th power in bytes, or about 1,000,000 trillion megabytes. So obviously 144 million isn't going to even come close to what a Yoda bit is. So it basically equaled 0 Yoda bits. And it was 11 zeros that came up, and then 1152001064. That's what the answer was. But 11 zeros first. And then we had another 11. 1152, and 52 is the Queen of Swords, or Lady Liberty, as we just talked about the Liberty Bell. And then 00, which is the infinity symbol, and then 1064, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and then the 10 of Swords, which is ending pain, but also the bliss that comes after that in the new cycle. So in splitting up the 144, like I said, the 144 comes up as 3 lines, and then the 2 L's, or the F symbol, which is the digamma or twin flame symbol, but it's lying on its back as an arrow showing energy direction going back. And then the 33 comes up is the Rolling Stone, 3EWM, and that makes the gift. But if you round it as an E, rounded as opposed to squared, then it's going to become the circle with the plus sign in the middle, or the gift, which is literally a square with the plus sign in the middle of it, or a window, the gift or the window. So 144001333. By the way, when megabytes came up, Mary's bath came up, because that also came up in the past couple of days, which is a double boiler. So 144000133 is nothing in the whole scheme of things. So then it was coming up as the 144 and the 133 as the Chi Chua, as one being the Chi and the other being the Chua. And yeah, so 144 was coming up as the Chi regarding the chakra system. The lowercase I for me is the chakra system. And then Chua is coming up as the 133 reference as the CH horsepower of the EWA, or the UAL, the twin flames, because it's the E and A of Adam and Eve, and then the W of two U's in the middle. And also we're saying U's, which it represents the two again. And then the U's also represents the two lambs. So again, Chi is coming up as the 144 chakra system, right? Using the chakra system to awaken. And Chua was coming up as using the twin flame connection to awaken. And I looked up Chua, C-H-E-W-A, equals to be feared or revered. And it also means two lambs versus the chakra system. And chakra literally is shock ray, to shock you awake. And Chi was coming up with 11. And then Ewa, E-W-A, is 5, 5, and 1. So now we have 144, 133, and then 551, which is the reflection of 155. So 144 was coming up with the number 9 of the I for the chakra system, but also 144 adds to 9. And then the 133 adds to 7, but it was coming up as the 11 from the EWA, which is 5, 5, and 1. That's where the 11 comes from. It's added up. So it was coming up as the chakra system path is 9, and the twin flame path is the 7-11. So they're always very funny about this stuff. Okay. So, and by the way, today is September 14th, and the ICU is coming up with 133, but remember I said that the I is normally 9, because it's the value of 9 in the alphabet, but also can be the 1. But again, this energy of the end and the new beginning was coming up with something else I'd come up between in my own connection, and the space between kept coming up as well. So this period was coming up with the eclipse coming up of now through, right? So now is coming into the eclipse on the 17th to the 18th, and then the next 30 days was a period coming up as the in-between time. So, and it was also coming up with the numbers of the 34, 35, and 36, which I'm actually in a 34 year this year, and it'll be changing on my birthday on the 18th into the 35 year, which is the wounded warrior. And then 36 is the Atlas energy, leaving that wounded warrior behind, right? Because that's the old path for the new journey of the Fool, right? With an open heart and a leap of faith, which then takes us into the 37 of the King of Cups. And just like I always talk about 80 days around the world as 8D days around the world, here 30 days, the 30 days I just talked about, was coming up as the 3D days, right? The days around the world, which could be that flash of light and 3 days, right? So the 133 was coming up as the old and the 144 of the new, right? But the 133 is coming up as can go both ways, right? It has the flexibility of being the end and the beginning, where the 144 is just coming in as the new. As the 33 is the two eagles flying towards the two phoenix of the two fours rising, as Atlas leaves the wounded warrior behind and moves on to the King of Cups of unconditional love and the 3 keys of alchemy. So then 9 and 11 were coming up, which is also Virgo and Libra, which is where we are right now, and it's also 911, which is 9/11, but also the urgency of 3344 of the two eagles moving towards the vertical pillar of the two phoenix rising. Virgo and Libra is the center of the horoscope, so it's a very significant time. And here, because there was 2 3s and 2 4s instead of the plus sign, right, of the eagle horizontal and the phoenix vertical, there were 2 plus signs. So it then becomes the energy of the star, right? The 2 plus signs, the X and the plus sign together, just so you could see the other plus sign, which represents the bidirectional energy of the twin flame energy coming into the center at Virgo to Libra, with 34 and 34 bidirectional wheels, which 34 is the 8 of Wands, or energetic exchange back and forth. So then the reflection, just like 3.14, reflects the word pi when you write it backwards. And the same thing was coming up here with 133 and 144 for me to write them in the reflective state. And 144 is PPI, and then 133 is EEI. All right, so we have the energetic exchange, and P represents housing as well. So, and rho. And the two P's together, I was just getting now, is the two houses coming together, and then the EE of the energetic exchange of 1. So remember that pi 3.14 reflecting PIE on the other side also came up with my drawing of the Noah's Ark thing that came up, which this is the Taurus, the infinity symbol, and then here is Poseidon's trident here as Noah's Ark, and you see they're always drawn as arrows. So these are 2 4s, right? Just like the pi backwards and forwards. And this lyric PIE over here, and this would be 3.14. And then here is the 1 in the middle, which then represents the 144 again. So I just wanted you to have that visual. So 133, 144, 144, 133, they're having me draw the different configurations to understand. And remember that 3.14 plus 4.13 plus 1.618, which is the golden mean, equals 8.888. Very significant. And what was coming up here, 16 to 18 was already coming up, right? Because the 17 is the star in the middle, which is the partial lunar eclipse that's coming up. And 16 is the tower and 18 is the moon, as we're, again, waxing towards that full moon and the tower event, which is the eclipse, which is the 16. So when you write 133, 144, you have 314 in the middle, with 13 on the outside and then 4 on the other side, which is 13 4s written that way. 13 is the death card and 4 is the emperor, but also that vertical pillar. And then when you write 144, 133, you have 413 in the middle, which references the reflection of 3.14, which is PIE or pi. And then again, you have the 14, instead of 13 and 4, you have 14 and 3, which 14 is the temperance card and today's date. And again, the 3 is the horizontal pillar. So again, you have the death card or the dark night as the emperor, and then you have the angel 14 as the empress or the sweetie pie. And then the tower moon and the 17 between the 16 and 18 or 1.618 star in the middle of all this, that then is this energy right here of Aries, equals the 8.888. And of course, 3 8s is 24. And so again, September 17th was coming up as significant, but again, the eclipse may start on the 18th, depending on where you are in the world. And so then I was taken back to that picture of the ark with the Taurus and the trident, because I was bringing that up as 2 are us and 3 try D''ENT, the giant talking tree, the humanoid talking tree, as the living library. So 2 are us and 3 divine, because divine is the same as D''ENT of the spinning planet and the giant talking tree, the 2 vine of the divine. And then I was getting 5, mine, all mine. And again, the period between, where 4 is the finish line and 5 is mine, all mine. All right, so 2 are us, 3 divine, 4 is the finish line, and 5 is mine, all mine. And the 4 of the finish line represents the flag waving, which I just showed you the flags on the ark reflecting each other. And then they were taking me into this tree thing that came up yesterday, I think it was, in meditation or just when I was resting, of the tree. So literally, I want you to stop for a moment and imagine yourself as the tree. You are the tree trunk, and you're exuding white light. As your roots are going down deep, and notice that roots, when they go down, they Y, just like the branches Y up. Okay? So the roots going down is the light to bring up the violet flame around you also that points into the tree, which as the trunk then grows up and wise and wise and wise and branches off into the leaves that are the emerald leaves, the emerald light of the leaves, with the magenta or pink flowers flowering with all of these emerald leaves. So think of all this light coming in, right? Because now you have the emerald light of healing and the pink light of compassion. And right, one has more to do with physical healing and the other has to do with emotional and mental healing. And then we have the energy of the sun above the tree, right? So the tree, emerald leaves, and magenta or pink flowers are the canopy over the trunk. And then the sun is the golden light canopying over the tree. So now you have all these lights coming in. I'm getting big connection too. So this is a great way to meditate, to make sure you've brought in all the lights you want to use. And again, and there's the ewes coming in too, as the lamb. And notice that this also, the tree with showing the roots, also looks like a mushroom. And mushrooms have been popping up all over my neighborhood that I've never seen in those spots before. So and huge mushrooms. So it's very interesting. So the canopy of the tree also represents, as it wise and wise and wise, the branches then start falling over, because the leaves are the grandchildren that then come back down around, relieving the trunk of the tree, right, the king, so to speak, in order to retire. So here is the energy of the wise, all wise, right? Because that's the masculine growth. They keep splitting and splitting and growing. But she is the X, and she marks the spot. And in alchemy, she is the shape, and he is the movement or change or direction. So the X also represents the hourglass of the two triangles of the masculine and feminine, where the X is where they're at their points together, which represents before they merge into the Merkaba, right? Now, but at that point, he must make the move to go up into the other triangle, okay? There's a lot of parallels here. So the story's coming in as she, and we're talking about the Merkaba now, so think of diamonds and triangles, okay? So she, in the beginning, brings in the diamond light. So she is the diamond, okay? And then she wants to share, but they're in two worlds. So she splits in half and becomes, the top triangle and the bottom triangle. She stops and splits in order to share. But so again, she brings the diamond and is willing to share. She divides herself, that diamond, to become two triangles, but he doesn't see. So her share falls to the wayside. He gets lost because now he's on top flying into space and he's not familiar with that realm. And she then despairs as her triangle goes down until